Okay, it's live, so. All right. I'll come down here.
Good evening to all you who are on Facebook and also YouTube. Glad to have you. Running just a little behind, which is normal. While we wait for a few more, hopefully, come on in. Tell me how your week's going, and it's very exciting that God's doing for you this week.
Well, she's not had to take any pain medicine.
And COVID, if you get carried, let me know.
Right.
Medication.
I've got one. As of the 18th of February, Kim will be out of Tallahassee. She goes to Sunland on the 18th. Kim will. She got a job, accepted a job yesterday at Sunland. She starts on the 18th of February, so we will all be in Holmes County now, full time. Yes, at least so it's it. There, yeah.
Hannah, y'all remember Hannah? Heard one yesterday. That's her on Friday and Saturday this week. Good. You bring good. Oh, good. You see your niece, it's always good, right? There you go. Truck being worked on. I was there before Thanksgiving. I don't know. All I know is this is the only guy I want to work on it. So no. I had all the parts. I had all the parts. Well, let's open in word of prayer, and then we'll get to our study and have our prayer. Father, thank you for this week that you have carried us through today. Thank you for each day and blessings of each day. Thank you for providing for us, for protecting us, even through things that we're not even aware of. Have angels all around us all the time. It's the battles at times we don't even recognize. Thank you for keeping us safe. Thank you. Foods on our table. There's so many things that thank you. And Father, as we come tonight to learn, we open our mind, but we open our heart. Spirit teaches us, Father, how I pray that we might draw it in, put it in our hearts, that at some point in the future, as it's needed, we pull it out, remember it, use it, share it, so that other people might be able to get through something or understand something more about you. So, Father, bless this time together. Give all the praise for it. In Jesus' name we pray. All the God's people said, amen. So last week we were in chapter 21. We were in 21 last week talking about eschatology, right? Everybody got that word? Eschatology. What does that mean? last week, which means you want to book. You got your book. You want to book? You got it. Okay. Which means what? The study of end times. End times. So, and is there any particular reason you need to know that? No. It's end time to find. End time to find. So we talked about that there was three millennial viewpoints. Somebody named three. Onward, right? Okay. Millennial means thousand. Millennial means thousand, so it's referring to the 1,000-year reign that's talked about in the Old Testament and the New Testament. So pre means what? Not rapture. Christ's return. Christ's return is before the millennium. Okay. And post means after. That Christ is going to come or come after. And then I agree. Means there's not one. It's just forever. Christ returns at some point. All right. We also talked about that there are three views about the tribulation. Those three. Three. Rapture of the church before the tribulation. Did, which means that it happened middle of the tribulation, which is at the start of the Great Tribulation. The last 3.5 years would be 7 years of the tribulation. Then there is post-trib, which means that church is raptured out at the end, or it really don't matter because that's when Christ is coming. So anyway, it depends on the point. So those three, and I kind of told you that I am a premillennialist. That's the only way I can make it. I've been able to question that I don't have. I don't have to answer their question about it. I have to be comfortable with my answer. I would like to help them understand. And then I am comfortable. I can take pre-trib, but I can also allow up to mid-trib. That's because I believe the Bible, or the Bible teaches that the church, God's people, will not come under His wrath, judgment, or punishment. And that's based on Romans chapter 8, verse 1. And so the judgment pouring out, remember we studied Revelation, pouring out of judgment, the bowls of judgment happens at the halfway point of the tribulation. So that's where I'm at. So really, I don't think there's going to be a declaration in the newspaper or on the internet saying, today starts the tribulation. Okay? And there's not going to be a guy or a leader come on the scene and says, I want you to know I am the Antichrist. Satan is a liar, father of lies. And so I don't think we necessarily know when the clock starts ticking on the 7th year. The Antichrist could be rising up in the ranks now. I do believe that we have enough information from Scripture that the Antichrist is charged. It's going to be throwing up red flags to us. We need to watch this. I have watched because red flags all my life. Okay, so far, the Antichrist. So what that means is that because they didn't start the rapture really happen anytime. There's nothing we have to see or has to happen before the rapture happens. So we need to be ready for that. And that should cause joy in our hearts. That's really Revelation written. Bring us encouragement, joy that Christ is going to return, is victorious. The other is that cause an urgency to tell other people, especially people who say we love, part of our family, people who are our friends, and everybody else. So after thinking over a week about all this, that any questions about end times or something like that, or so I can give you a test now. Promise.
Goodness here showed him, and his family showed him through Old Testament scripture, Jesus about the prophecy, I think, and he knew those two. And he was blown away by that. And that's being built now. He was talking about how you have a large company, wealthy people that are coming together, and it's getting closer and closer. So, and you can see there's groups of people that think this way. They don't know who they're going to buy. They just think it's a good way to go. Because most of them come here. They're not going to think that. I know that. It's interesting how people that try to take out the Jew, it doesn't ever work out well. And the people, they were taken into captivity. Yeah, they were punished for not trusting God. Well, they would go to not, or they would go back to believing, and then they straight and go back to them. All these things that have happened, you can watch the different signs, and it's very interesting to see how the world is moving closer and closer to all the problems.
Interesting point, talking about the person witnessing the scripture, the person from the Old Testament. I think when Philip was a witness to the eunuch,
right,
he said, began there, probably spoke about Jesus. Take a person where they're attached.
Well, there wasn't a New Testament.
There wasn't
Yeah.
that.
No, to tell them about Jesus, but that was current.
Isaiah 53, the most picturesque scripture about Christ. Anybody else? All right, well, let's look at chapter 22. You know what has stunned me recently, or the last several years, is you trust does a survey on religion, or religion every year, and they've been tracking it for 40, 45 years, asking the same questions each time. And one of the things is they ask, do you believe I believe in a hell? And there was a time where evangelicals, nearly 90% believed that there was a hell. That number has continued to drop. talking about all. We're talking, I know, right? We're talking about people who say that part of the church. We're not even talking about the mainline liberal churches. We're talking about those who call themselves evangelical. I'm to the point. I don't want to be called evangelical because the definition is so broad that we have allowed false teachers to be in that group. There's almost like if you're against abortion, you're against I understand that, but there's so many other things that they believe contrary to what we believe, and not because what we believe, but what the Bible teaches. So, so that that has, I had the same kind of reaction. Kind of go, how can you read the Bible? There's one thing I've said. I know I've said it here a couple of times. Whatever you believe about heaven, you have to believe about it.
If they're going around saying they're saved, but they don't believe in hell, well, what are you saved from then?
Right, exactly. Because Jesus talks about separating in the judgment. He talks about heaven and hell in the same verse. So if there is no hell, there can be no heaven. Okay? So when you throw away hell, you throw away heaven. That's the logical conclusion. So anyway, how many got to read the chapter 20? So when I looked at it, I said, I don't have to read this, but I read it anyway. He talks about basically three different views about hell and its existence. There's certainly those people who believe there is no such thing as hell because God is love and would never do that. And so they just say there's no hell whatsoever. Kind of like you die and you go out of existence. But next to us was a family that they Venice worshipped on Sunday. So we were wanting to play friends, guys that we've been friends with. They couldn't even come out and play because of Sunday school. So we said, okay, we'll just go to Sunday school. So the problem was me and my brother and my friend knew the answer to the questions that lady was asking. And their belief was that you're saved. But if you don't, you'll just, they said you'll go to hell and you will burn off whatever sin you have. My mom didn't know that. So anyway, here it talks about looking at a coal of a hot fire, or looked at the eye of a stove. Well, I don't know why my mom always thought this. That hell was going to be 7 times hotter than any fire on earth. I think she got that from Daniel when he heated up the fire 7 times hotter than else. But I kind of go, wow, I wouldn't even want that, much less 7 times hotter. So certainly We say it deters, but that
It should.
It should if you believe it. I mean, but if you don't believe it,
yeah. Now they might change, we're gonna have a party now.
Yeah.
Are they hope? Are they hope
Yeah.
that they have enough good that God will keep the die? But I've actually heard people say they deserve their healing. Yeah, I had a man tell me one time, had no problem, because they deserve
but why would you
I don't want to change the law.
same reason I guess the other three ridicule you, get us both down.
You know, a lot of times we look at that question, this side of salvation. We have to remember that. First he talks about that some believe hell is a literal place. Um, you know, again, because whatever you say, however you believe about heaven, you also have to believe about hell. So is heaven a literal place? Yeah. I got reservations. So, in Revelation, we saw the the earth passed away. You have your place. Now we know the language in Revelation, in particular, is symbolic at times. The symbolic language always represents something literal, points to something literal. So, Jesus talked in parables, parables and stories to explain something spiritual or heavenly in a way that we as humans understand. This reason we use language talking about farming or fishing or things like that, so for us to understand. So there, and I like, he just kind of didn't say much about that, It's like, okay, there's people literal. And literal. I'd rather make a mistake of accepting something as being literal and be wrong about it than to take something that is literal, but I made it allegory or symbolic. Some people, it says here, that believe hell is a metaphor for suffering. In other words, there's no fire, there's no brimstone. It's just how the Bible talks to help people understand that they're separated from God, there'll be no peace, there'll be suffering. Some think it's just the suffering that they have here on earth. Others believe that they'll go through eternity or whatever, suffering. Physical suffering or physical pain as a result. When I look at this and think about it, I kind of go, suffering, whether it's metaphorically, literal, spiritual, it's something I don't want to do. I don't want to have any part. Does it really make it better that it's suffering versus burning? Both are equally terrible, and so I don't see how. Most people have a problem with hell because they say, "Well, God is a God of love." Something like that. I'm a daddy of love. I will spank my children. I will discipline my children. So some people don't think that I'm loving. I'm doing that, especially the kids. But then later, remember, I became thankful that I had parents who were experienced, and had some of my kids, even my toughest one, have had disciplinary parents. So there's those who have believe in symbolic language, me representing something else than actually what it's talking. But it's pretty hard when Jesus talks about it's going to be like the fire that rained down on Sodom and Gomorrah. It's going to be like Sodom and Gomorrah. If that was not, yes, it was suffering. It was pretty particular how it was going to happen. And God, when we see Him, anytime He judges, it's with fire, like with Sodom and Gomorrah, like with Korah and his followers who rebelled against Moses, God's man, were split up and slid down into fire. So, anyway, again, suffering for eternity is suffering. Yes.
Also, when you look at the others, defense, if that would become, that is, I don't feel like salvation. I really don't need Christ, and that is fear. If you don't need Christ, then
Really, what's there to get saved from? There's no, and that's the reason why the world wants to get rid of hell, because if they don't have a hell, then they're saved from or go to God to. So,